we were definitely family. We would hang out all the time because we all lived there while we were shooting. So we all lived on the same streets. And so we would hang out after the show, and on set it was super fun too. Of course I do, yes. I remember my audition. It was a long process, and the first day it was an audition that I had to send my own tape, and I was with my friends in a cottage in nature, and I was on vacation, and I got the email, and I said, oh man, I have an audition. Okay, I asked one of my friends, can you film do you have your camera? Can you film it and read for me, please? And she was like, sure. So I didn't really look at it. I didn't know what it was because I only looked at the script, which is a small scene. And it was a scene between Alaric and Luke in the police station. So I thought, okay, it's a show about police people, you know, because I had so many auditions that year, and I was kind of tired of it. And whatever, I said, okay, I'm gonna send something. And I saw who the casting director was, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I did it quickly. It didn't look that good, anything. I didn't feel like really good about it. I sent it in, and I said, oh my God, this casting, like, she doesn't like me. Like, I always said bad things to her, you know, and whatever, I sent it. Didn't think about it. And then a week later, I was back in Toronto then, and I received an email from them saying, oh, we want you to audition again, in person this time, for Rafael Santiago. And then I read a bit, and I was like, vampire? I was like, okay, wait, this is not a police show. So I went to see, I'm like, Shadowhunters, like based on the Mortal Instrument. So I went to Google, and then I started seeing all the fan stuff and all the like arts and all the things, and I was like, oh my God, okay, this is something good, something big. And so I went. I dressed myself like a vampire, and I went. And back then, I already had the hair. I already had the Meliorn hair. So I went in. I did the audition for the vampire. It went really good. Went home, and then 1 week later, they sent me another audition for Meliorn this time, and that's when I saw it was a fairy, and I saw the whole elves and all that, and then I had like looked at the photos, and then I like got like chills, and I was like, oh, this is it, this is my role, like I know it. And I always wanted to play an elf, always. And so it was very like magical that it was happening, you know. And then I started going on Instagram to see the Shadowhunters page, and they were introducing the characters and the actors and all that, and I could feel inside that I was part of that. And so I was like, okay, I just have to do a good job. I went to the audition, I did it, I left. I was like, okay, it was all right. And then they called me back a few days later, and they said, Jade, can you come back in? Which never happens. Can you come back in, and you have to change something? And this was, they said, you have to put your head down. They're like, put your menton, like put your what's it called? Sorry. Anyways, they said put your head down because you were like doing this a lot. I was like, okay, specific. So I went down, did it like this, and that's it. They were like, okay, cool. And then a week went by again, and then they called me back for the final audition, and I went in, and it was me and two other guys there. Me, who's like, I'm not that tall, and there was another guy who was a friend of mine in film industry, but he was a big, muscular, white, blonde guy, and there was another guy, a beautiful, like dark-skinned, tall guy, and me. And so we did the audition. I walked in. In the audition, the person reading for me was my friend who I was working on another show with, so it felt really good. We worked on the scene a few times, and then I went home, and I remember going back to my place, and it was like Sunday, I think, or something like that, or it was Friday, and then I had the whole weekend to wait, and I knew that like Monday I would know. And then Monday, my agent called me and she's like, "You got it." And I was like, "Ah!" And I jumped everywhere. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." And then they said right away, "Okay, you have to do a video. They're going to put it on social media. You have to say that your name is Jade and that you're playing Meliorn." And then as soon as they posted it at 1 p.m. my time, it was like 10 a.m. LA time. Then all the notifications like went crazy. And since that day, I have no notifications on my phone because it was just like, it was like stopping my phone. And that's it. And then I was on set like that Wednesday. So it was like very quick. As soon as I got the role, Monday, and then Wednesday I was shooting. And my first scene was shooting with Emeraude, the first scene that we have in the show, in the tent where we kiss and all that. So that was very like funny, weird thing to do right away, you know? Like, oh, let me undress you. But first thing I told her, I was like, "Hey, I'm gay, so you don't have to worry about it." And so we became friends right away. And yeah, it was really cool. And then I remember she was like, "You want to practice?" Like, "You want to practice the kiss?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's go." We practiced it. And then it was a very intimate set. Like the crew wasn't there. It was just the camera and the director. So it was very comfortable. And the day I got the part, I went to get the books, and I found this bookstore of like vintage books, like used books. Couldn't find the books. I went outside in the window, and I turned around in the window there was the box set of the whole series, like right there. I was like, "Oh my God!" So I bought it, and I started reading, and I read the first and the second book all the way to my part where Meliorn is first introduced, right before I got on set. So I remember being there. I was in the studio and just reading, and I saw Kat, and I didn't know the names. I was like mixing the names, but because I was new, right? And I was reading all about Clary, and then she came back. She's like, "Hey, Jade," and I was like, "Hey, Clary, Kat." Those are all the beginnings, but then we all became really close, and then everybody knows the rest. Saw the movie at my second audition, right before the Raphael audition, and yeah, just to get into it. And I remembered what it was. I was like, "Oh yeah, I had seen this. I'd seen the commercials for that." And so I watched the movie, and then I read the books, and Meliorn was so clear to me. Like, it was written really well, and he was very clear how he was, how he moved. I think it's very well described. And then I read a bunch of like fan fiction stuff, like all kinds of different ones to try to like get the vibe of what it was. What's a Sealy? How are they? But I really felt I knew what it was like, you know. So I got into that world, and it was easy to do in the sets of the show because it was there, it was real, and we could see it. So it felt really good. So yeah, I just went with my intuition, and I just had a feeling of how to play it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was cool because in the books we don't see their relationship. It's more of a past thing. So I was happy that we got to explore that, you know. So we had a little something to build on. And then it changed, which was still cool. Yeah, I would have loved to see him have more relationships, have more developed things. But it's just how it happened, you know. The team really changed. It's maybe something people don't really know, is that the first season was a very different team of writers and everything, and they had an idea to do and develop the characters and all that. And then the new team that came in, they did something else. They didn't really develop the people too much. It was more about the things around it, the story, and all the things that come in and out. But then near the end of the series, we get to develop a little bit more of the friendships and the things like that between the main characters, which I thought was cool, you know, like Jace and Meliorn and all that fun thing between them, which was really fun to explore. And me and Dom, we loved doing that. But yeah, I would have loved, and there's a bit of flirting between Simon and Meliorn and everybody, and it's like Meliorn wants to play with Izzy and Simon together, like it's really like fast, but you see that, so it's really exciting. I mean, it could have been more for sure. I would have loved to have more to do with him, but I was happy with what I got. Oh yeah, absolutely. I love them. We had so much fun together, and we're so lucky to have been able to travel for the conventions after, because that kept us together. We had many adventures, a lot of fun. We'll always be connected. We don't all talk as much anymore. I mean, I'm in a totally different part of the world. I'm in Montreal now, I'm in Canada. So I'm not like in LA with everybody, I think they see each other more, but I'm far, and it's sad, but I still talk to some people here and there sometimes, and for sure when the conventions will continue, then we'll see each other again. But yeah, we were definitely family. We would hang out all the time because we all lived there while we were shooting, so we all lived on the same streets, and so we would hang out after the show, and on set it was super fun too. And the atmosphere was super great on set, honestly. It was really a lot of fun. It was like summer camp together. It wasn't summer all the time, but it was, really cool. We were all happy to do it, and it was really fun and exciting and magical, so yeah, special times. Well, yeah, something that was kind of weird with the experience was the distance between the production decisions and us, and there was a bit of most of us found out it was canceled on the internet, which wasn't fun to find out, right? Like on Hollywood Reporter, if Shadowhunters canceled, they were like, oh cool, thanks for telling us, guys. So you can kind of imagine what that was like. I had a feeling because it was just weird, they were weird with us, but that happens all the time with shows, so we were lucky to have that many seasons to begin with, and we were also lucky to have the finale episodes to shoot, because we were done shooting the season and they brought us back, which was big drama because it was during the conventions and all that, but they brought us back to shoot the final thing. And I remember because they weren't super nice to me, to be honest, the Disney people and all that, so I wasn't gonna come back. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not coming back to shoot this, sorry. I'm better with the conventions. And so in the end they were like, please come back, please. So I did. Obviously I wanted to, right? But it's just I was just kind of but yeah, it was cool to go back and have that final thing. Really fun. That was actually a really fun finale episode, because finally the characters that mattered were there together and interacting and fighting together, which I've been waiting for a long time. I was waiting for them to do book 3, which is my favorite, the big war and the Iratsi, the alliance stuff. So that was cool to do. And then the fans, the way they reacted, I mean, I expected it because I know the power of them already. So yeah, I totally expected it, but it was really cool to watch and to find the posters around the world and to just be wow, and to see all the things they did. But it's too bad because I knew they weren't gonna continue the show. I knew it from the beginning. So, but it was hard to tell the fans, guys, they're not gonna do it, because they're holding on very tight to it, because it's Netflix, Disney, and this other production, they're all together wanting to fight for it. So yeah, it would have been amazing to do it, and I would have gone back for sure to do it, but that's how it happened. There's gonna be other Mortal Instrument stuff happen for sure. Oh man, I love the energy. I love the love that's there. It's just amazing. Yeah, I feel so connected and so alive and important. You know, like the story really matters to people and those characters. Yeah, I love the events. I think they're so cool, and I love meeting the people that have been watching and been feeling connected to the story, and to meet them each one and see who they are. I love that. And I recognize myself in a lot of them too, because I was a fan like that for Buffy before, but there was like no conventions when I was watching it, and there was no like Twitter or anything I could like tell them I love them, you know. So yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, I love, you know, and of course I love traveling and going to see all the people around the world, and just like an amazing experience. Like it's such a blessing to be able to do. So it was really hard to stop that for sure during the lockdowns and everything. It was really difficult to like realize that, oh, okay, that's not my life anymore right now. Yeah. Oh my God, yes, I would love to go back. They were super fun because I speak French and I was able to speak both languages, and like, you know, I love Paris, I love France, and I so want to come back. But so far I'm not invited. So I don't think I'll be back at that event. But I mean, I'd love to be back there and do different events if there are any. I'd love to be back at that event. We're gonna try to get me there. We're gonna try to get me there still. But yeah, there's this, you know, I have this special connection with French because of my French side, which is you know, it's a different connection. It's like a different mind, you know, that I'm part of. So it's exciting to do, and I think people didn't expect me to speak French, be a francophone, and be on that show, you know. So it's always very exciting, and yeah, I want to come back. So we'll see. We're working on it. I love music. I've always loved music. Always wanted to do music and like be a pop singer. So as soon as Shadowhunters finished, and I realized, okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity and I'm going to jump into a new thing and bring everybody with me so we can stay connected and have something new to connect with. And that was my music. So I worked on my EP, which was dedicated to the fandom. And I did it all independently, which was really scary because I didn't really have that much support from the actual like music industry. But it's okay because I was learning. I was a new musician, like in people's eyes, even though I've always done it. And so yeah, I released my stuff independently, and it was very challenging, and I had to learn how to be confident about that and kind of like switch my whole image. Like, I feel like people didn't really like that because I wasn't just Meliorn anymore, you know, but I'm more than that. So I started my project. I kept going and kept releasing music, and then last year I did, because of lockdowns, I was back in Montreal, and I actually got a French TV show, a Québécois show, which was one of my biggest roles so far. And it was great, and it was on a big network called TVA here, and I was actually nominated for an award for that character, which is really cool. I decided to create a French single with new friends that I met, new people who work in the industry, in the music, and so we made a song called Ephémère, which worked really well. We released it at the same time as my show came out, and so it worked in Quebec. We were on the radio, and we got in the Canadian Billboard, and yeah, it's really like super exciting, and it's like one of my dreams come true to be on the radio. And so the song's called Éphémère. It's on all the platforms if people want to listen to it. And so now what I'm doing is that I'm releasing two new songs in the next few months. One is going to be an English one that I made 2 years ago. No, maybe not this summer, last summer. And so it's time to release it. It's actually called Home. So the home sessions were like a bit connected to that. And really good one. I'm excited to release it. And then after that, I've got a new French single that's going to come out. It's called Donne-moi. And it's really good. I'm actually finishing that on Saturday in the studio. And so that should come out in the spring. So Home is going to come out hopefully in 1 or 2 months. And then in the spring, it's going to be Donne-moi. And it's going to be a whole other round of hopefully radio stuff and performances, and then I've got a song for Pride that I want to release after that. That's going to be like a remake, but that's still in process, so I'm not going to say too much.